Welcome back to the Caribou Dude Newsroom here in Wells, British Columbia, 3,953 feet above sea level. I am Joey Only, the Caribou Weather Dude, yes, with another report for you. We've been warning you not to be playing around in steep country because the avalanche risks were over the top, dangerous, and still are right now in everywhere from Revelstoke up through here in the Caribous. They are exceedingly dangerous right now. With new snow coming later in the week, they will return to being extremely dangerous. So you got to be very certainly careful when you're playing out there. We've been warning people. I've been screaming about it on the channel. I'm like, people, listen to me. This is the reports. This is what's going on. Have your gear. Be ready. And people don't listen, and all these kind of incidents happen. Someone could have been killed. Let's look at the incidents from this last weekend. There's a bunch of them to talk about. Let's go. There it is. This is bad news. My God.
Falling out right now.
Anything could happen. Get on! Wow. I'll watch the video later. They try mopping this. And if I forgot to tell you, hit like, share, subscribe, tell a friend. And for those of you who know me as Joey Only, the country singer, you can find me down at the very end of the month. If you go to Ignite the Arts Festival's website, ignitethearts.ca, you can buy tickets for Ignite the Arts Festival. I'll be performing there, and you can get 20% off if you use the promo code Caribou Weather Dude, all capitals. Yeah, Caribou Weather Dude, 20% off to your tickets to come see the show. And that's for a great weekend of many performers. I think there's like 60 different performers that weekend, right? So Penticton is going to be rocking. If you are in the Penticton area, come see me. Okay, in other news, also, we have this week on the show, Mike McCabe, who's a weather forecaster down there in Washington State. Is going to be the guest on the show. Mark Ingalls, our resident meteorologist, has dragged him into the show, so we will have that 6:30 p.m. on Thursday night right here on the channel. Make sure you subscribe and come back and find us once again. Frankie McDonald, the star of the show, of course, and we have Brandon Houck, some of the best.
I'd like to introduce Joey Ollie. Say hi, Joey Ollie.
What's up?
Say hi, Joey Ollie.
Hi, Joey Ollie.
I'm doing great so far. Brandon Houck is another weatherman in Brooks, Alberta. Brian Smith. Brian Smith. What about Brian Smith? He lives in Portland, Oregon. Brian Smith runs the Portland Weather on Center Facebook group. And Imogen Cookie Bailey lives in Victoria, British Columbia. Say hi, Brian Smith.
Hi, Brian Smith.
Of Brian Smith, the Portland Weather on Center Facebook group. He created that group. And Joey Ollie is the...
And the weather for Sydney tomorrow is sunny, remember?
Yes, what about Wells, British Columbia? It's getting... Wells, British Columbia is really cold where Joey Ollie lives. It's going to be cold weather where Joey Ollie lives.
Yeah.
And the rest of the interior of British Columbia is going to be really cold. And interior of British Columbia as well. I got a lot of friends over in British Columbia.
Funniest weather people in Canada, always on. Yes, great show. Okay, let's talk about the incidents. This first one from Sunday, we have the Sulkin Hut Partial, it's called. Sulkin Cabin, it's right here. And that's sort of a glacier area just off of the Illecillewaet Glacier area, if you know that area. It's on the south side in Glacier National Park on Highway 1 as you're coming through between Revelstoke and Golden. That very, very kinky avalanche zone. So there was 4 people in the group and one person was partly buried with normal breathing. The comments are, we were touring the low angle slopes above all Sulkin Hut, low visibility, accidentally, unthinkingly skied through a steep wind-loaded roll very close to the hut as we hurrying back. The slope avalanche, catching one person who was buried up to their armpits. We were still in uphill ski mode, basically cross-country skiing downhill, so the skis didn't release and were a real anchor. Avalanche ran for only 25 meters, propagated 75 meters wide with a 45 to 60 centimeter crown, a size 2. People who write the bulletin know what they are talking about. Listen to them, so says the great advice. And speaking of such great advice right now, what are the conditions? Okay, so they were just updated. Today, these were in the reds, Caribou area and Revelstoke area, but now we have the update. It's just the Lake Louise area and Banff areas that seems to be in the reds right now. Now is the time to avoid being on or below avalanche terrain. Very conservative decision-making is required in the backcountry. Or riders can more safely enjoy the powder at local ski resorts. High, very high through the week. So that's for Kananaskis and whatnot. And still, even though it's at considerable now through the next bunch of days in most of these regions, a considerable statement. Keep in mind that the risk of triggering avalanches remains possible or even likely in areas that have received snow recently, and keep in mind that we have more snow coming this week as well. So these will be updated and changed. Wednesday, looking at high on the coast, and that just reflects right there the fact that we have more snow coming. So touchy storm slabs are likely on Tuesday on the coast. Careful snowpack evaluation, cautious route finding, and conservative decision making are essential. Now we go to this incident in the Central Rockies. Terrain traps, trees. Where was it? Somewhere right around here. Off of 742. Okay, I see. In Peter Lougheed Provincial Park. So that's on the Alberta side. Okay, skier was carried approximately 15 meters, breathing not affected, no injuries. And we just have this one image from the incident showing us how it kind of came down this gully onto them. Also from Sunday, snowmobile accidental 1.5. And we're looking... So we're talking the Monashees right here is where we're talking. Okay, so in the Monashees, sled triggers a 1.5 in a northwest aspect, 30 centimeter crown, and ran 50 meters. Now we go to Saturday, March 8th. Happened at 2 in the afternoon near Mount Remo, which is on Highway 16. There you okay. So we're talking area that is west of Terrace. Terrain traps and trees. Big wake up for me, it says. Hindsight, I did everything wrong and hence the incident. Lots of learnings of pure complacency. Was day 40 in the backcountry this season. 1. Was very familiar with the area. Didn't respect enough. 2. Bulletin called for considerable. We saw all the signs. 3. Group was skiing cool lines. So I couldn't just ski something mellow. It was mentioned ski that little cool line. Sort of weird. Okay, group splits up at top. I was on one side, they were on the other without clear line of sight of me. Number 5, skinning up the line. I had lots of slabs yet. I still went. 6, didn't communicate clearly when I was dropping in and didn't get a response from my partners. Number 7, slope was convex and much steeper than 35 degrees with a good 20-30 centimeters of snow on a south face. I had a feeling it would slide and tried to ski cut, but broke above me and I had no chance. It moved fast. Thankfully, I grabbed some small trees with my Avi bag. Slope had long run out, so Barry I felt would be less likely, but the big, huge trees in the path would have done some pretty darn good harm with the speed of the snow hammering me into them. Partners didn't even realize what had happened. They heard my scream and thought I had tipped over. I am very lucky I was able to hold on and let most of the snow pass me. A lot of reflections, and I am still a little bit shaken. Let's have a look at the images of this. That must be the trees that he held onto, crown and trees that he held onto. So he managed to just hold on to that, and look at that slope just fucking went. Boom, that's where it started. And I like how he's got the yellow path here, so it makes it good and easy for all of us who just want a nice, simple example of what kind of thing we're looking at here. Excellent diagram, excellent report. I'm glad you survived. I'm glad nothing terrible happened. And it's a great lesson, not just for you, but for anyone who might be watching this, to show some respect on the steep country when we put the avalanche bulletins out and everyone's saying it and squawking about it and commenting about it. We certainly do mean it for a reason. Skier size 2.5 on the Dolomite Traverse. Okay. Dolomite Lake near Bow Lake on the Wapta ice field. Okay, so that's up the 93 there between Lake Louise and Jasper. 5 people in the group, 1 person fully buried, 2 people involved, 1 person injured, caught but not buried. Terrain trap at the trigger point was unsupported. Slope transitioner bench. Okay, the group was traversing a steep slope on the way to Dolomite Pass and poor visibility and off the regular route. The avalanche occurred as the second skier was crossing the slope. The first skier was caught but only carried a short distance. The second skier was carried most of the way down the slope and fully buried. The buried skier was dug out by companion rescue after 7 minutes with minor injuries. After some time, the skier was able to move with assistance to a place where they could get picked up by visitor safety and alpine helicopters. Holy shit. And just for another good example, up in the Rogers Pass, close call on Mount Rogers right there, not very far. So a lot of these incidents right in the same area. So 2 people were in the group. 1 person was involved, caught but not buried. Okay, let's see what it says. Party of 2 ascended from Hermit parking lot starting at 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Party reached the top of their objective of Rogers Peak south face at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. The party did not note any shooting cracks or snow transport at ridgeline during the ascent. After transitioning at the top of their line, Rider 1 made approximately 6 turns down the face before a shooting crack extended in front of the rider. The snow also failed approximately 3 to 5 meters above the Roger to the top of the line. The rider was caught and carried approximately 30 to 40 meters through the steepest section of the line, and the rider was able to self-arrest using a combination of their ice axe and tow edge. The rider was unburied and uninjured. The slide traveled to the base of the line where the face meets the Swiss Glacier, approximately 250 meters below. Slide was R2D1. Rider 2 was able to safely ski down to Rider 1, assess that no rescue was necessary, and continue to the base of the line. The party returned to the Hermit parking lot with no other notable occurrences other than poor riding conditions on an old wet debris near the valley floor. Okay, let's have a look at these images. That's a terrifying story. Red X up there at the top marks where the slide was triggered and the rider was caught. Oh boy. The blue area is the debris field here, and this from a distance showing south face of Mount Rogers and Swiss Peak from Swiss Glacier. Red X marks where the slide was triggered. O marks where the rider self-arrested before, and blue demarcates debris field roughly. So terrifying experience, and unbelievable that no one got killed in any of these incidents this weekend. More or less the story of the day is that one trough's departing, the atmospheric river weakening, departing off, and the next system is preparing to come in on towards the southeast on Tuesday, right? We were looking at that in my other video, so we're not going to spend too much time talking about the forecast because you can look at my last video here. And looking at how the storm that's going to move through BC this week will start to connect with a bunch of low pressure on the other side of the Rockies and make for a really disastrous storm setup. Nonetheless, on Tuesday, a little bit of flurries up through the north, low pressure center just off the Alaska coast up there, right? Bit of an occlusion down the line, and here we got the sector of where things are going to start to flow in. Snow maybe in that south end of Vancouver Island, sure. BC south coast, the ranges, moderate precipitation is spread across the south coast on Tuesday and taper off slightly in the afternoon as a trough tracks across the coast. Freezing levels remain in the 500 to 1,000 meter range. So, flurries continue in the northwest ranges, of course. BC interior here. As the frontal system tracks into the interior, flurries will intensify to periods of light or moderate snow in the interior ranges. Areas like the Rockies, Caribou's here for me, Selkirks and Montachis will see snow during the day. Saw a little bit today, too. Had these sort of squalls today that came through, and I think my friend Lacey sent me a video of a good example of what these afternoon squalls look like when they just get a little bit of convection going on and push these things up higher. They wish they were a thunderstorm, but they're not. They're a snow squall.
Going live, Highway 97 South at 150 Mile House. This pretty epic little weather system's coming in here. Does anybody know if it's rain or snow? Ha! I rhymed.
Anyways, the Purcells and further east will likely remain in light flurries only. So the Yukon and South Klondike, you'll have periods of snow taper off in the afternoon and sunny breaks, light ridgetop winds, temperatures near -8, but it's going to get much colder up there for you very, very, very soon. Anyways, that's a quick look at the Avalanche stories from this weekend. Man. We got more snow coming. Play safe out there. Watch the Avalanche Canada ratings because we just looked at those danger ratings. We know they're going to go back up once we have all this new snow that's coming this weekend. We got these fluctuating temperatures. It makes for a snowpack that's very unstable and ready to go. We have old layers that are buried that have on little crustal areas in the strata that help give like a crazy carpet effect so the snow can just take off and separate from one whole section of snow, separate from another whole section of snow and just go sliding off on down. You're putting your life at risk out there. I'm screaming every week, please be careful. We've only had a couple deaths this year in BC. I would love to see that only be that would be the end of the fatalities this year. That's what I'd like to see. Hit like, share, subscribe if I didn't say that before. Tell a friend. We'll come back with more for you here on the channel all the time. Thanks, everybody. Bye now.